All right, we have another build for you in the customer success category. It's gonna be a smart support agent. So you can think of how do you reply to all your tickets, maybe categorize them, and escalate any tickets that need help. And so this is gonna be a really great automation for your support team, and we're gonna jump right into it. All right, let's build our smart support agent. So what I'm gonna do here, as always rename your agent so it's either easier to find. So I'm gonna go ahead and rename this guy to smart support agent. And I'm going to go ahead and favorite this agent because I think this is an agent I will want to come back and iterate on a lot and be monitoring. Now, very first step, agent needs to know when to wake up. So I'm going to right click on my flow editor, click add trigger. And for this case, I'm going to act like we have a support inbox. And so I'm just going to treat it as a Gmail support inbox, like a lot of companies have. But you can follow along with the exact same process if you use like a customer success tool or customer support tool, like Zendesk, or say you have like an Outlook inbox, ultimate flexibility here. We're just going to treat it like an email inbox. So I'm going to go ahead and look for my Gmail triggers, select email received, and go ahead and pretend this guy up here is, my support inbox. Now, I don't want to filter any event because it's a support inbox. I want all events to be processed. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave all these default settings. Don't need to worry about it. I just want to process all my emails. Now, the very next step is, sometimes whenever someone replies to a support email, it doesn't actually need a response. Like maybe I already helped them and they were just saying thank you, like all those little things. I don't want my agent to reply to people all the time. So I'm gonna start off with a condition and just go ahead and say go down this path if the email needs a response. Then I'm gonna add another one. Go down this path if the email does not need a response. Maybe just in parentheses, I'll just say like any short confirmation that the conversation is over, just so the agent has a little bit of a better idea. And best practice, this is like an outcome where I know it's either going to happen or not. And so I'm actually going to want to toggle on this force agent select to branch. So every time it'll choose the most likely one between these two, if the email needs a response or if it does not need a response. And these just look a little messy, so I'm going to go ahead and rename this just for sake of clarity. Does email need response? And I'm just going to say this guy is yes, and this guy is no. And if it does not need a response, I'm actually just going to mark this red. I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to look for my Gmail action. I'm just going to say mark email as red. There we go. Well, if it does need a response, we're going to want to act on this. Now, I'm pretty careful about my support agents. I never want to send something that I wouldn't send myself. And so I always want to equip my agent with the knowledge to do its best job. And so what I have over here is a company FAQ document. Now, Google Docs is a super easy way to do this. Any sort of document, you can even just copy paste text. But if you want to have any sort of FAQ, if it's under like 30 pages, I would recommend just loading the full FAQ into context. If it's like over 30 pages or like over 50, if you have that, say dense of like a support playbook, I would recommend using a knowledge base here. But in this case, I just have a couple of pages, pretty cut and dry. So what I'm going to do is if the email does need a response, I'm going to click the plus. I'm going to search get document. Get documents. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and get the link of my FAQ documents. Head back to Lindy. I'm going to switch this guy to manual. It's going to be the same link every time. And this way I can just update my Google Doc. And now we're ready to go. Let's just click our format button, make this look a little more pretty. So if we kind of orient ourselves right now, for our support inbox, we're going to determine if it needs a response or not. If it doesn't, email will just be marked as red. If it does, we're going to fetch our FAQ so we're ready and equipped to answer our questions. Now, you could imagine we could follow the same exact process we just did with the condition step, and we could have a condition step right here, have a condition, and say go down this path if you found the answer in your FAQs. We could do the same thing and add another condition if you did not find it. But I'm actually going to show you a little bit of a trick. Like whenever these documents and drafting responses, sometimes I like to use the AI agent step. I'm going to use the AI agent step as a condition right now, kind of as a makeshift condition step, because I know it'll think a little bit more. And this one could be a more complicated task. Like I wanted to kind of, there's a little bit more ambiguity here. So I'm going to do as a prompt, I'm going to say objective, following our best practices. And I'm going to say, you are a support agent for Lindy. Your job is to look at the FAQ in your context and the email received. And if you are confident that you can reply to the answer, you exit with an intended response. And if you are not confident you cannot find the answer, you exit and escalate the request. So very clear, this is the objective here. There are no tools, so we don't need to worry about our tool prompt. But we are going to say exit conditions. Just say, there's 2 exit conditions. We'll add these guys maybe first just down here. You can exit when you find actually we're just going to copy this, when you are confident that you can reply. Given your context. If you are not confident, I might reword these a little bit, but I'll just say you are not confident and do not find an answer. I'm just gonna, in your context. I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit, kind of like the wording here. It's probably not gonna affect the performance here. And now I'm just going to create 2 exit conditions that kind of match those 2 things. So I'm going to go ahead and add exit condition. Exit once you are confident in the answer and find a response. Or exit if once you do not find an answer in your context and need to escalate the request. So now what this agent step is essentially going to do is just going to think, given this kind of prompt, it's going to look at the FAQ, it's going to look at the question, and if it thinks, hey, I have enough information that I can make a response I feel great about, we're going to go respond to the person. That's what we're going to do in that path. But if I don't have the response, I'm not going to force anything until it lets the agent decide here. And so if we do not find the answer, actually, I just want to be reminded on Slack. So I'm going to head over here, and I'm going to use send message. And remember, if you ever use a send channel message, you're going to want to have your Lindy bot or your Lindy app in the channel. And you can do this by, I think maybe /app, or you can just top right, click 3 dots, settings, integrations, add an app, and you're ready to go. Now, if you are confident in the response, I actually want it to send a reply. So I'm going to go ahead and do an added step here, perform an action, Gmail, send reply. Now, just to clean this up a little bit, I always like renaming my connections. So I'm going to say this is escalate. And the right-hand side, this is reply. It doesn't affect the performance, purely aesthetic. So now, let's actually configure some of these things. So if we want to escalate the request, I already have a Lindy support channel set up. So I'm just going to send it there. And then for the message, what I'm going to do is just prompt this and just say, in concise bullet points, explain the request and why you escalated it. There we go. And then I'll also say, always link this URL. I'm going to link the output reference URL for my email. So let's see if we find the URL here. URL. So what this means, I'm going to get a Slack message in my inbox with, hey, this person asked this question. I didn't find the answer. Here's the link to the email. So I can just click on the email, reply, and come back. And what I'm going to do here actually is like a little bit, I don't want to ever have to answer the same question twice. So after a reply is received to the Slack message, I want to be able to reply to the Lindy message and give it the information of how to reply to this and have it update the knowledge base. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do actually after reply received, perform an action, update document. Update document, and we're going to use the same exact doc URL up here. Doc URL. we are going to want to append, so add to the end. And I will say, just add a quick prompt here. Add any new information that you learned from the thread to the knowledge base, given the full context of the question and or the ticket and the reply. And so anytime I reply to the Slack message and thread, Lindy will automatically add it to that document, so I never have to answer the same question twice. So that's just a way to kind of save you time in the future. And now, when I want to send a reply, we're automatically replying to that same thread. What I'm going to go ahead and do here is in my body, I'm going to prompt this and say, respond given the context you found in the FAQ. Always maintain concise, professional responses, and be helpful. Sign off, Lindy. Just some information like that. And I'll edit this, sign off as Lindy. I recommend having some more information about your brand's kind of style and tone, and maybe like an example email or two, just so the agent knows. But that's just a really great kind of prompt example. We can leave this as auto. I want to be mindful and really not have the agent get too verbose. Now, if you're still we're pretty safe here. If you are a little bit wary and want to add even more protective measures here, you can actually scroll down to the bottom and click the Save as Draft. And now, in your support inbox, if there's a confident reply, Lindy will always save the reply as a draft. So you can just look through all of them, and just click Send. And then once you feel comfortable, you can untoggle this and resave. But yeah, that's the Smart Support Agent. It's a really lightweight kind of managed inbox. We are cognizant of when to reply, when not to reply, to kind of protect our brand's reputation. And we also have a self-improving knowledge base anytime you provide the agent with more information. And this is a super powerful one. I know we depend on Lindy a lot with her support. And sure enough, that I bet you guys will too once you get one of these in action. And so, yeah, looking forward to more builds. And I think Marvin might be taking away the next one. And super exciting.